Generation Z is known by many different names. Born between the years of 1995 and 2010, Generation Z is between 7 and 22 years old, just entering second grade and some just graduating college. They will come to age between the years of 2013 and 2028. There's 4 years of data for those that have come to age, and there's 11 more to be had. But we can already see significant behavioral changes from previous generations. To understand Generation Z, it's important to know what social changes have occurred in their adult lifetime. For example, our nation's first black president, Barack Obama, was re-elected, a major milestone for the LGBT community when the Supreme Court voted in their favor in U.S. versus Windsor. The terrorist group ISIS continued to dominate national headlines. Colorado and Washington State voted to legalize the sale and use of marijuana. The first accord on world climate control, the Paris Agreement, was ratified. Labeled Brexit, the UK voted to leave the European Union. Fake news starts to disseminate among popular social media, creating an impact in the presidential election of 2016. Billionaire mogul Donald Trump shocks the world and defeats Hillary Clinton to become the 45th president of the United States. In just 4 short years, Generation Z has witnessed some significant social changes. Let's take a look at some of the technology changes that have occurred in their adult lifetime. The introduction of smartwatches creates an immersive data experience for the user. Virtual and augmented reality experiences an explosion with increased application and software development. Sophisticated drone technology becomes publicly available. Electric-powered vehicles pushes technology in automotive with self-driving cars. The rapid expansion of consumer cloud services allows users to access data from anywhere in the world. Everyday appliances start receiving access to the network, creating a connectedness called the Internet of Things. Large social media platforms start to demonstrate a financial viability, and as a result, people are more connected to the internet and the world now more than any other time in human history. Understanding the economic changes during Generation Z's adult lifetime helps to understand their risk tolerance. For example, they've never experienced a decline in the economy, only sustained growth. Online shopping overtakes retail for non-grocery purchases. We start to see increased adoption of digital currency like Bitcoin for anonymous sales transactions online. Technology advancements makes it even easier and more secure to pay for things you buy every day. Sharing economies like Uber and Airbnb start to displace infrastructure like taxis and hotel chains. Crowdfunding becomes a common mechanism for entrepreneurs to finance their businesses. The economy has shifted to become increasingly reliant on the use of the internet. Now that we understand the circumstances that shape Generation Z's belief systems, let's take a look at a few facts. Generation Z is the largest population segment in the United States. They are also more ethnically diverse than any other group in our nation's history. Generation Z are the first digital natives, never knowing a world before internet. They spend more time on mobile devices than any other generation. So what does this all mean for you and your business? Because the way this generation both views the world and receives their information has changed, we must also change our messaging and the way in which we deliver them. Because users are inundated with billions of impressions per day, Generation Z has developed a sixth sense for inline sponsored ads and is the most adept at recognizing them. The continued fall of magazine sales shows that Generation Y and Z simply don't use these mediums any longer. Generation Z also views forced commercialization as a simple impediment towards the content they're trying to find. And because of the massive amounts of impression one receives in a day, and the fact that Generation Z's only been driving for 6 years, traditional billboards simply don't work as an effective means of communication. And television advertising is simply paying more for another screen that you cannot interact with. Generation Z no longer gets their news from traditional sources. They believe that if the news is big enough, it will find them in their platform. One thing that hasn't changed is the influence of celebrities, and they're now more connected than ever. Generation Z expects companies to have a positive social impact and demonstrate it, which is why purpose-driven messaging is incredibly attractive. And that's why companies that deliver these purpose-driven messages that are interactive, engaging, and seamlessly integrated with emerging technology have an incredible opportunity to succeed.